Afternoon, Big Red here. Well, I got something a little different for you here today. And today I'm going to be doing some cooking. And I thought I'd show you how I prepare this dish, and also show you how I cook it on the smoker. What I'm going to be doing is baby back ribs and brisket, beef brisket. And just went out to the store and found some very good cuts of meat. And anyway, what I usually do is I marinate with a wet marinade instead of a dry. Some people use dry. I prefer the wet. Anyway, let me show you what I'm doing here. The products I'm using. I got my baby back ribs here, cut in half just for convenience for using the marinade. And I put them in plastic bags, gallon plastic bags, seal them up with the marinade, and then turn them over a couple times, every 2 or 3 hours to get an even soak. I usually soak them overnight. It only calls for a couple hours, but I found it's a lot better if you if you marinate it for overnight. And so anyway, I'll be doing that with the pork. I use the Stubbs marinade. This one here is for pork. It's got chilies, lime, and ginger. And anyway, shake it up real good and put some of that in the bag and marinate it overnight. For the beef brisket, I use the Stubbs beef marinade, soy, garlic, red pepper. Outstandingly good on brisket. Same thing, same way I do that one, marinate it overnight. And as I'm also leftover marinade that I have, when I put it on the smoker, I'll dribble that over the top of the meat there as I'm cooking it. So anyway, let me show you how I'm preparing it here, and then we'll go out and I'll show you the product I'm using for my smoker. So anyway, as you can see, my brisket, I use the trimmed brisket. Much easier for smoking, and also you don't have all that fat to deal with. So anyway, get you a good cut of trimmed brisket. I recommend. Baby back ribs, one of the important things on baby back ribs is to pull that membrane off the back side of there. Otherwise you'll have real greasy ribs. It keeps all the grease in the meat as you're cooking it. And you pull that membrane off, it allows the fat to drip out, and provides for much tastier ribs, in my opinion. So anyway, I pull that membrane off. I cut them in half. Then I'll just put them I'll just put 2 in the bags, in the gallon bags, sealable bags, and then put the marinade in there. Okay, shake it up real good. I'll pour about half that bottle in there. Seal the bag good. And just kind of squish it around a little bit. Let it make contact with all the surfaces there. And I'll put that like I said, in the refrigerator and marinate that overnight. And same way with the brisket. I'm using the beef. And this one here is just small enough to go in a gallon bag, so I'm going to be using the gallon bag. Otherwise, you can use anything to as a container. Just don't use metal, because you'll get a metal taste in your meat when you're smoking it. And so anyway, we'll put the meat in the gallon bag here. Just big enough. And we'll put about I guess about half of that in there. And I'll save some also for when I'm smoking. And I'll seal that up. Push it around a little bit. And I've got my meat ready for marinade. So anyway, I'll show you the smoker I have here in a little bit. And so anyway, stay tuned. Well, I'm back. And back on my back deck here, and right now I'm looking at a gas smoker that I use for smoking briskets and baby back ribs, salmon, all kinds of things. So anyway, let me show you what I use here and what woods and stuff I use. First off, this is a multi-level, multi-stage smoker. You can use it for grilling or smoking. And I hadn't used it in a while, so I'm going to get it up about 400 degrees or so, and clean everything out inside, all the cobwebs and stuff, before I start using it. And anyway, it uses either chips or chunks of wood. And here's a little bowl that I use here. It's a water bowl that goes above the chunks, the wood. And usually what I do with that is coat it with, I'll wrap it with aluminum foil to keep the mess down when I go to clean up. So anyway, it adds moisture to your food while you're smoking. And so anyway, so basically I have the wood chunks at the bottom, then I have the water above that, then I have two grates, different levels, and you can see the different levels there. So anyway, I try to smoke the brisket and baby back ribs around 250 degrees, and I preheat it to get the wood chips smoking and everything before I put it on there. Then I try to maintain the wood in there to keep it smoking the whole duration. So here's some of the wood products that I use. I use alder when I'm using salmon, smoking salmon or grilling salmon. And I use apple as well for smoking and for grilling. And I also use hickory mostly for smoking meats and stuff. And I use on occasions I'll use mesquite for grilling beef. So anyway, I use an assortment of products here. So anyway, I'll show you what it looks like when I'm smoking it. And stand by. Okay, I'm back here. And I have the smoker going here with the meats on there. And I had to marinate it real good. So anyway, let me show you the meats here and show you how we're cooking this. Anyway, we got it going about 200 degrees, 250 degrees right now. And anyway, show you the meat on the top rack here. And see that beautiful marinade on there? These are baby back ribs. And I'll have, the grill doesn't really cook evenly throughout, so you have to kind of adjust it a little bit, to find out where the hot spots are and rotate around a little bit. Anyway, I usually cook these ribs about 3 hours, and then after I get them almost all the way done, then I'll start putting the barbecue sauce on them for the last 30 minutes and baste them in the barbecue sauce. Okay, let's show you the lower rack there. In the lower rack we have the bigger pieces on there, the brisket, and also the bigger pieces of the baby back ribs. So anyway, the way this gas smoker works, it's real hot around the edges here, so you got to really watch your meat right around the edges. It'll burn. So and you also got to make sure you have continuous smoke. And I smoke it around 250 degrees, and I'll get that center brisket there about 160 degrees. And usually what I'll do is I'll take it off and wrap it in foil and put it in the oven for about an hour, and that really makes it tender. So anyway, I'll show you what it looks like when it gets out. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back here, and about 3.5 hours or so I smoked this meat. As you can see, there turned out just perfect. There's the ribs, and there's the beef brisket. And I think I'm going to finish off the beef brisket in the oven, put it in some foil there, and put it in there about maybe 275 for about an hour or so. I found that really makes it tender. So anyway, I'm not going to put any barbecue sauce on it right now on the ribs, because I'm making this for a big group, and some may like it and some may not. So I'm just going to take the barbecue sauce with me, and they can put it on there when they get their serving. So anyway, if you're in the market, if you're wanting to try out some ribs and brisket, this is a good way to smoke it. Hope you like it.